Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Gonna light us some sage, get some smoke going. It's September 1st, 2025. Monday, Labor Day. In the night, I only got 2 messages. One was Pink Machete. And I thought, And the next one was Sacagawea. Now, some time ago, Spirit Divine, masculine, very large, much greater than anyone here, stated that the land was going back to the indigenous people. Last night, we got Pink Machete and Sacagawea. I really feel that she's out there doing her thing. And I wonder if these masculines are happy with the story that they actually told everybody. She's going to make them live up to the truth or whatever. I don't know. But let's see. Pink Machete and Sacagawea in the house. Let's tap right in, see what storyline Spirit has for us this morning. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Storyline for the collective. Sacagawea in the house with a Pink Machete. Do you know, in history, I read once that in the indigenous culture, and I'm not sure which tribe, or maybe all of them, I don't know, but it is said that often the women would lead the war charge. Like they would be out there doing that thing, you know? And it sounds like Sacagawea is doing something like that right now. This is crazy. All right, so anyway, let's get to the storyline that Spirit has for us. In the central energy, we got the devil. Devil. In the challenge position, leaving home. Getting out of here. This curator was upset a while back. If we lose our home here, so we've got some invaders is what we have, and they kind of took over, and now they're on their way out. As a failed experiment, they were not properly guiding anybody. They were not helping anybody, except those that were hurting others. So they're trying to defend their beliefs. They got to get out of the damn house, and they're trying to defend their beliefs. They're like, wait a minute, the toxicity is the way to go. In the recent past, we've got swift change. Swift change. Intentions, expectations. Celebration. Celebration. In the near future. Nine of Pentacles. Coming into the fruits of your labor. You've been working real hard out there trying to clear up this foundation and get everything back to a state of harmony, homeostasis, stability, symbiosis, temperance. In the environment, the sun, rebirth, the sun. Pink. Hopes and fears. Five of Pentacles. Somebody's in poverty. The outgoing energy. The Star. The Star. Somebody's restricted. Somebody's being restricted from love. Somebody is being restricted. They're in a painful ending because love is coming together. The Star and the Sun. Temperance angel or temperance energy is coming together in love, and these other ones, this Devil is having a painful ending. Restricted from it. Restricted from it. And as far as collaborating with these ones, that's over too. Collaboration for financial gain with the Devil is at an end. They've proved themselves unwilling to work for it. They just want to take whatever it is that you got. They're looking for a new way of communicating because this is the completion of your burden and the beginning of theirs. And they know that every love offer is being investigated very carefully. The soul is being searched, the mind is being searched, the intentions will be known. And if they're not on the up and up, they will be disconnected from the opportunities to earn power, powerful positions. And that's justice. That's justice, the law of cause and effect. You know, there's going to be a generous giving, a generous inheritance as to whatever it is that they got coming back to them, whatever they've seeded. But we do have a 9 of Cups for the love of Divine Feminine, Empress, Queen of Cups. She's coming into her reward, man. She's the mother aspect of the human race has really taken some bad hits. And so have the fathers, because they took them out and left everybody else vulnerable. They were supposed to be helping people here, but they instead decided it was a feasting ground. And they were helping themselves. And so now they're getting divorced out of the energy. While you are leaving the past behind. Sayonara. Goodbye. Goodbye. These pages that were offering love, making love offers in order to bring balance to themselves and their world through trickery and fraud, you have a victory over them and the illusions that they were creating with all of this chaos. So they're in a tower. They're in a damn tower because the high priestess has done the work and she's coming into the reward for the labor that she has put in. She's got a divine union here. And perhaps she's working on behalf of all divine unions, source connected. Yeah, working real hard at it. Expanding the idea that brings the 10 of Pentacles, and you're free of this, and somebody else is in a damn nightmare because the wheel's turning. The wheel is turning. And the Queen of Swords knows the truth about the King of Pentacles, or how people have gained their wealth. And it looks like some people are in regret about this truth being exposed regarding the hard work that they've been doing. It could be that they've been fighting against the Queen of Pentacles on a routine basis because they've been trying to take her abundance away from her. But she's very courageous and very strong. Her boundaries are up and firm. And there's death here for this competition with this Devil. And that the wheel is turning on divine love. The Emperor is here, making sure it happens. got those swords up. Some people are going to a crossroads, and the Most High God or this Hierophant, whoever has this significant authority, is seeing to it that, they're not going to cross your boundaries, and they're going to have to be responsible for what they got going on. Mr. Passion Project is got some scarcity going on in their foundation. King of Cups, the love of divine masculine, is making plans here because Queen of Wands and them have persevered through these challenges, and their boundaries are up regarding the territory. And it looks to me like this new beginning is protected. You've manifested it. And King of Wands is calling judgment on this devil energy that's been trying to interfere with his future. And we've got another victory here and a Chariot. Some people could be afraid because they got to move on. They're getting left behind. Because also the King of Swords knows the truth. So the truth is on the board. People know what's going on. These devils aren't able to do their trickery anymore like they once were. They were really good at it. Still are. Pink Machete. Sacagawea. I don't think the story they told us was correct. I don't think she's too happy, but she's back. Pink Machete. For a wee lass. So the devil, we got codependent toxic behavior here. The devil, codependent on innocence. The innocent child, the purity of human beings. Very toxic. There's travel plans. They got to leave home. They got to get out of here. They got to get off the territory. They got to leave everybody alone, especially the children here, the innocent children. Look, yeah, they're leaving. They're going to be made invisible. It's like, go away. They're not going to be able to see. All these children are going to be made invisible, and the mothers and the fathers that protect them. So they're going to be made invisible. And they're trying to think fast and defend their beliefs. They're like, but wait, what's wrong with RAPing a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old or a child? I don't know. Yeah, you got these kin here from the past. They're trying to think fast and defend their beliefs on their poor behavior regarding children and the innocence and purity of the naive. We've got something happening very swiftly here in the recent past. I don't know what they did with Sacagawea or if they did something with her genetics, but she's on a warpath right now. So supported divinely. Prophecy. Prophecy. Whatever this prophecy is, it's happened. It has occurred, and there's a celebration here. Okay, well, okay, these fell out, and I'm not going to take them, but somebody was playing around with the Evermore unions, haunting them, expecting that they were going to take the important positions that they would play in the world. So, yeah, so that's what this is. Playing around with the Evermore, haunting them with the expectation that they were going to get that seat. It could be now that the prophecy is that the player who's been messing around with the Evermores has an expectation of being haunted, because that's what they were putting out onto the Evermore, onto eternal love. You've got the fruits of your labor here with the Nine of Pentacles. You got a life of luxury, and this curator and all these people who feel that they own the energy, the life force, vitality within all of these innocent bodies, they feel they own it. They actually feel they own it, and that they can market it, sell it, eat it up however they want to. It's really incredible. These are innocent earth angelic suns and stars. Failed experiment. I mean, they were supposed to do something. Look, you've got home here. You're going to have a luxurious home. You're going to have you're going home. You're going to get a home. You got 9 of, you might getting a wish come true, the fruits of your labor, you're going to get a home. You're going home, wherever that is. Perhaps you're going to return or go to a specific universal dimensional realm for you. I don't know, but there are unlimited universes out there that have been spoken of, and there is a reallocation or a rehoming of various frequencies and vibrations. You know, the energies that people like to live in are the energies that they will be gifted, because that has been the seeds. What comes out of you is your reward. So we've got temperance energy here. Balanced, harmonized in your purpose. Martyred. You could be a martyred earth angel, brought back from the dead, or what people say, this devil, whatever this innocent one is, they were snuffing the light out of purity. And it looks to me like they're coming back as a rebirth. There's a rebirth here of the earth angels that had been martyred. They got their light back. If it was gone, if it was suffering, it's been reactivated, and they're on their spiritual throne. They're seen very plainly, and somebody's out there, this devil is out there in a 5 of Pentacles energy because of it. It's seen very plainly. They were gobbling up the purity of innocence, snuffing their light, dressing up in it, trying to claim it. And sometimes they actually got the soul, so they got to walk into a temple with a soul and claim it and pretend that they were the soul. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I did not even know that this stuff was happening until I started looking into the cards. It's wild. So they're in peace. I mean, they're in poverty. They're suffering a financial loss because you're at peace, because you were able to hold your peace within your temple. You're a star being. You were rejuvenating, transmuting all this dark, dense energy that they kept putting into you. You know, years ago, 2015, I believe it was, I mean, my whole arm was going numb, right? I was feeling the energy coming in, the tingling and all of that, and I thought, oh no, I'm having a heart attack. So I went into the cardiologist, and I had an EKG and all of that. And he was like, oh, you're going to have a heart attack. And I'm like, well, are you sure that it couldn't be this or that? And he's like, no, you're going to have... So he sent me directly over to the emergency room, where they got me in and they put dye into my heart to check out my heart, because they thought I was going to have a heart attack. And there was nothing wrong with my heart. Everything was functioning exactly as it needed to be. There were no blockages, nowhere near any blockages. It was purely electrical, purely energetic disruption. I highly recommend that anybody who experiences this to go do the same, so that it can put your mind at ease, that when you feel the tingling in your arm, you know that it's these ones trying to, because this is your receiving hand, so it's these ones trying to put in the dark energy and be received by your temple, your body, the waters of your body. You're the star, you're a transmuter, you're a healer. And you can do this alchemy without even thinking. They were not able to take your body. They were not able to take your body. They can't take your body, star. They cannot take your body. You have rejuvenated, you rebirthed yourself, you rebirthed and then rejuvenated, you're at peace, you're a temperance angel that had been martyred. That's the lens that's being looked through, this, and you're coming into the 9 of Pentacles, fruits of your labor, which is a home, or maybe you're going home. Somebody, we've got addicts in leadership, right? You've got these addicted devils that are dressing up in the purity and the light of innocence, and they're trying to be seen as a leader. But you are the true arcana who shines, who actually produces your own light, and you're being recognized here, remembered. You are the arcana. The sun, the star, the temperance angel. The spiritual throne is yours because you're the one who is peace and brings peace. They martyred you. They martyred you. They made you absent. They wanted to be seen as you, so they made you absent. But you took care of yourself. While there, wherever they put you, you took care of yourself and you expanded in your shine. And it's time. It's time for you to get your things. You have objectivity. You can see both sides of the knife, you know? These ones have been walking exact edge definition for some time. They really strive to be perfectly you. But you are you, and you've got forgiveness for your faith. Your hardship has been witnessed and seen, verified. And it's time for you to make an appearance, or somebody is going to be making an appearance. You are important. You're a giant. Your energy is huge. And these devils were eating it. They were dependent on the innocent purity of the earth angel. Suns and stars. They were snuffing the light out of them as they were children because they were easier targets then. They couldn't allow you to grow into adulthood and then stand up and say, whoa, you got to stop what you're doing. This is not okay. So they did their best to eliminate the earth angelics at a very young age so that they were never serious competition. But they got very confident, cocky. They did not see that the innocent temperance angel, sun and star actually wants to live. They thought that the suffering, terrified, tortured child would never come into a desire to expand and live, that they would constantly and forever be stuck in that state of suffering. Cruelty, this devil is. A whole family of freaking devils, and they're out here trying to defend themselves. Pink Machete, Pink Machete. May she terrify you, devil. I support her in all she does. Without question. We got a confession. So the devil is codependent on this innocent, the innocent purity of an earth angel. And they are closest to the most high divine when they are young. And so that's when their essence is most pure, and then they harvest it, right? They've been doing this for centuries. They were bragging about it years ago to me when everything was so terrible for me. And these ones were bragging about how our light had been fueling their existence for centuries and how it was going to continue that way forever and ever and ever. And they were very cruel, very cruel. So anyway, there's travel plans here and invisible. They're going to be invisible. They cannot see these children anymore. They're being taken away. They got to go away. They've been confessing what they've been doing to the innocent. They've been snuffing the light out of them, dressing up in it. A gold digger. They're a freaking gold digger. And they gold digger. And what is this? This is gold. You're golden light. You are golden light. And they were digging on your gold, temperance angel. And they decided that the way to get wealthy would be to martyr you and sit on your throne. And pretend that they are peace. So they got their sword up and they're like, hey, just, give us our stuff. Give us our stuff. It's like, but it's not your stuff. So, night before, there was some conversation going on, a question answer sort of scenario, and there was masculines being quizzed by other masculines about abusive relationships and how they just don't recognize that they're being abusive, and they really think they're righteous by, they said they were here to help her, and their idea of helping her was to strip her of everything and manage it while she was left with nothing. These cruel people thought they knew better what to do with your energy than the love that you are. Sweet, innocent star, sun, temperance, angel. This devil family thought they knew better how to spend your life force essence and work with your mind. Love spell. So they're trying to defend their habitual patterns of bewitching people with love spells to gain access to their intimate energy and their spiritual inheritance. Very swiftly, we've got the prophecy here. Prophecy. Spy. Someone's got their eye on you. There's a celebration here, because those who were playing around with forever love, you know, the eternal love, they're being haunted, or there is an expectation of them being haunted, because that's what they were putting out onto eternal love couples. They were haunting the minds of the sun and the star with the intention of keeping these earth angels apart from each other, have them take themselves out or have somebody else take them out. These ones were definitely driving the minds of the people and those in their environment to do a thing. They're a liar. This player has been seen as a liar, and so now their expectation is that they're going to get the hauntings, all the mental effery that they've been putting onto the suns and the stars to keep them apart. You're coming into the Nine of Pentacles. You're getting a home. You're going home. And we've got no. We're going to get some clarification on that. We've got Temperance, Angel, Martyr. What's going on with that? Intuition, separated from intuition. So they unalived you, shut you down in every way that they could. They damaged your third eye. Like in my instance, they were pouring acid and stuff into the brain matter of my spiritual self, my dream self. They were siphoning the energy. There was blockages on the heart, on the throat, everywhere. My circumstances, like I was physically moved into the rural areas. I didn't have access to anything. I was poor. I mean, this has happened to a lot of people. You were, the bridge, like your crown was wrapped and cursed. Anyway, there's a rebirth here. All is well. You are in the sun energy. You are on your spiritual throne. You did not move on. You did not quit. You did not stop. You're on your throne. And somebody's in poverty because you are at peace. You're at peace. You're like, I'm not leaving this world. I'm sorry. My intention, my purpose is to bring temperance energy to this realm. And in order to do that, first you need to bring it into your own self. And they thought that if they threw the book of devilish, deceitful, forbidden crap at you, that you would never be able to manage yourself in a peaceful way. And you did. And so now they're having poverty. This narcissist. You remained peaceful in the face of all this crap that this narcissist was doing. They're having a financial loss because you are peaceful with this narcissist. You did not fight with them. They fed, they abused, they lied, they gathered people to hurt you, and still you stayed in temperance energy, star energy, sun energy. This spiritual throne belongs to you. Not some upside down little jackwagon who loves to bring chaos into the world. You're a star, you're a rejuvenator, a healer. They were not able to take your body. They can't take your body, your temple that houses your spirit and your soul, your energy. Manifest. Tell the universe exactly what you want. They couldn't take your body, and you're here manifesting stuff. The water sign that was moving against you is suffering Mercury retrograde. Whatever they were doing, trying to manifest your body, is back on them. Yes, at a distance. They could have challenges getting pregnant because they've been intimate with somebody else. There might be some kind of a disease or some kind of a thing going on. Vacation with pets. Traveling soon. Divorced and let go. So they're taking their pets and they're leaving. Getting divorced. Just a few more months. We got open your heart and give it time. But still, use caution because you got these gamblers trying to weasel their way into your space. You're going to have to really use your discernment here regarding your health. We've got an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, that could be having some health issues in this commitment date night. So they've been third partying people. They've got themselves some kind of a disease. There's an earth sign moving out, and a fire sign is getting a new cycle. Someone who's still trying to figure themselves out wants to try to get into your thing. They want to communicate with you, but you are protected here. So you're protected by from the third parties who are trying to manifest themselves into your energy. Third party gold diggers. A few more months. This is being cleared out. There's some serious communications going on out there, gathering confessions, first-hand testimony about their intentions, what they were doing. I don't think that they can lie to the interrogator. I'm pretty sure that they're driven to speak truthfully. Dark side. The devil is here, codependent on the purity of the innocent ones, the children. There's a confession here from the dark side. They're challenged because they got to leave home. They got to get out of the territory. They're challenged because they're going to be made invisible, or they cannot see these pure children anymore. This is a gold digger that's been snuffing their light out and then claiming their light, their energy, perhaps even their soul. They got to face it. It wasn't right. But this family is here trying to defend their beliefs regarding bewitching people with love spells in order to gain access to their energy. They're grieving here. It didn't work out the way they had imagined. Very swiftly, we've got prophecy playing out, and there's spying here. We've got spying, rabbit hole, crazy drama. How far were you willing to go? I suppose that was the thing. How far were they willing to go? Maybe God was giving them the opportunity to really, like, how far are you going to take this? And they were taking it to extermination levels. I mean, they thought that this sun and this star, if this is the same story, and I'm reading it as such because this is the story that I'm always picking up on. They thought that they had gotten rid of you all. They didn't think there was an original left. They thought that all of you had been CRISPR'd somehow, altered, and that they could claim you as, you know how when somebody has an original and then the patent wears off and then all of a sudden there's all these little copies? Well, they thought if they CRISPR'd the temple, that meant they owned the spirit and the soul. They altered the creation and then claimed it. But the problem with that is that what it was inside the temple wasn't altered. It was just being driven. They claimed the chariot of the temple. They claimed the chariot, the temple that housed the spirit and the soul, and then they drove that chariot. They drove that spirit soul. And everybody thought it was their own damn self having a bad day, having anger issues, having lustful thoughts. So there's a celebration here because the player who was messing around with Evermore's lying about true love, there is an expectation that they will receive the haunting that they have been putting upon the children and the innocent, naive, peaceful beings who are not childish. This is not a time for childish behavior. You're not childish. They lied. You're not childish. They were lying about you being childish. You were not. They were masterful projectionists of their own behavior and thought patterns and energy onto others. Not only do they have forbidden magic in order to do that, but they have technology out there as well that can assist them with that. You know, this Wi-Fi crap. So the Nine of Pentacles, you got a life of luxury coming up to you. We got home and we've got no. We got no. We've got no burned. Nobody. This says you've been hurt before, so it's hard for you to trust, let someone in, and love again. So it may not be the time to let somebody in. You've been burned before. You're not ready for a new union. You're saying no to this because of this, but you do have the fruits of your labor, a life of luxury coming up, and a home. There will be no burning. There could be no more hurting. No more hurting. Perhaps you will let love in again, and it will not hurt. The lens that's being looked through is these are temperance angels. These are earth angels who had been martyred and disconnected from their intuition. Their crowns had been tampered with. Their solar plexus energy had been, look, there's an exit plan. They're out of here. These ones, these devils, thought that if they could be seen as the temperance angel, that they would get out of here. But it didn't work out. Instead, you're getting out of here. You are the sun. You got a rebirth here. All is well. That spiritual throne belongs to you. And you're moving on. Or you're not moving on. You didn't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere. These ones went an exit plan. They thought if they could be seen as you, that they would get your stuff. You didn't go anywhere. Their cup is empty. You waited. Even though your cup was empty, even though they had taken everything from you, you waited. You did not leave. You did not quit. You did not give up. They're now suffering a Five of Pentacles. Their cup is empty because you're at peace in the face of this narcissist who lost. Because you're peaceful. You're the sun and the star, the rejuvenator, the healer, the temperance angel. This is your purpose, to bring balance and peace and harmony and healing. They could not take your body. They could not utilize your light to manifest anything. And you are here. You are leaving. You're taking your manifestations and you're leaving. You're manifesting an exit. You're the star. They could not take your body. And so now all of these gifts that you are as a temperance angel connected to divine source, you're leaving this dark side behind. You're leaving the passion project, the F-boys and the F-girls who put out many flames and feed them to this dark side, this snake. You're leaving them behind. It's been a long road. You're tired. You deserve a break from this stuff. They've been feeding on you forever, and they did not see this coming. They're crushed here because their whole world is crumbling. They could be at some distance from you. They neglected you, and your neglect, the days of you being neglected, fed upon, and taken, somebody taking everything, is ending. They said, well, the days of your neglect are ending, and those who are guilty of neglecting you, everything is crumbling around them. They're in ruins. Everything that you no longer need is falling away to make room for the love that you deserve. They're going under, and you're being fierce. You're like, hey, I don't care. Sorry. You know, they fed on you. They wanted to feed you to this devil in the dark side. They martyred you, separated you from your intuition, thinking that they were going to get an exit plan off of your life while you suffered with the devil. And they're coming forth, and they're asking you to care about the return, this return of karma that's coming to them. They want you to fix it because that's what they've been using you for. They've been using you to fix their own crap because they refuse to. Extremely rude. Rude. It's rude, man. Rude. So they use love spells to get into the energy of an intimate partner, and they claim they're there to help them, but all they do is take all their energy and all of that, and then they actually help this devil. They harvest somebody. They're not there to help anybody except this devil who feasts on the innocence and the purity. They snuff the light out of stars and suns and temperance angels. They martyr them. Dishonesty, confession. They're codependent on the light of the innocent. And they're leaving home. People are going to be made invisible. The innocent are going to be made invisible. They're going to be made invisible. They're a gold digger. What they were doing was not right. They need to face it. It was all a daydream. It was a freaking daydream. Your cruelty, devil, it was a daydream. If you thought that was going to get you a prize, it was a daydream. So now this whole kin, this whole family here is trying to defend their beliefs regarding trapping people with love spells. They're grieving. It did not work out the way they had planned. I can make you love me. You just wait, I'm powerful. I can force you to give me your life. What kind of crap is that? What kind of process is that? People do love spells and force somebody to give them their intimate, sacred energy. Deceitfully, falsely, mind effing them. Oh, but it's okay because we made them feel good, right? That's what I heard these masculines say one time. They were like, if she fights, and one said, oh, don't worry, we'll make her feel good. It'll be all right. This crap going on in the freaking ethers from these ones is so disturbing. So very quickly, we got prophecy playing out. Somebody is spying on it, this crazy drama. Somebody's been watching this crazy drama the whole time. We've got overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. They're stressed out now. They're stressed out now. They are caught up in that crazy drama. There's a celebration here because the player that was cursing and trying to prohibit and annihilate the opportunity for eternal love is being haunted, or there's expectations of it. They were expecting you to be haunted, but they lied about you being childish. You're not childish at all. You're very much put together, very balanced, very at peace. You're shining your light. You're healing yourself. You're healing your home. You're healing your community. You're very much settled. There's no ripples in your waters. They're lying. trying to create chaos where there isn't any. And they're very good at it, but it's not working with you. So you're getting your 9 of Pentacles, a home. No. No, no, no. No, it will not be burned. And that could just mean that no, they're not going to burn your house down. You're getting a home, and no, they're not, and no, it won't be burned. You got a home, and no, it won't be burned. So whatever this is, this could be an actual home, or it could be that you're going to get a new temple that houses your soul that won't be burned. You know, in the past, I feel that these time traveler, time manipulator devils who had access to this sacred wisdom and this spiritual throne that they had hijacked last cycle, they've lost access to this knowledge, this information, this wisdom, this authority. But in the past, it's like we would get to a certain stage and then they would hit reset, and then like the oracles, the seers, the telepaths, everybody who is a threat to their leadership, their command, would be teleported into the past, and then you'd have some witch trials or some torture fest or whatever. It's not happening like that. You're getting a new home. There is a rebirth here for the healer, the light, and it will not be burned. You're protected here because you are responsible and you care about families. You care about whether they eat, whether they have a roof over their head, whether they're happy, whether they're able to regulate themselves, whether you as a group can regulate your family in all ways, mentally, energetically, emotionally, the strength of the family, right? You're not just standing here alone trying to tell the world how powerful you are. You're growing a freaking legacy of strength. And no, they will not burn it. It will go. It will live on. You're a temperance angel that they have martyred. They separated you from your intuition, thinking that they were going to use you as an exit strand, as an exit plan, and they are guilty of such things. You are the sun energy. You have experienced a rebirth. You could have been one of these innocent ones that were martyred to this dark side in the past. They were lying about whatever it was that they had laid upon the innocents, this karmic debt, before they sacrificed them. The truth is out. They lied. You may have been innocent, but you were not childish. So there's a rebirth here with the sun. That spiritual throne belongs to you. You did not move on. You're coming right up forward here, and the cup is empty. They could not take it from you. And even though, you didn't go anywhere, so their cup is empty, and they're being held back. They're being held back. This throne belongs to you. You're not going anywhere. Their cup is empty. They're being held back. They're in a 5 of Pentacles because you are peace. You are temperance. And you remained so, even in the face of this narcissist who has lost. They've lost you, and they've lost this territory, and they've lost their opportunity to feed on batteries. There is an understanding here of everything that they've been doing. There's lots of confessions out of the horse's mouth, if you will. They're just out there confessing, and they're very haughty, arrogant, thinking that they know exactly what they're doing and it's right. And they don't seem like they're human. They seem as though they're an advanced freaking AI system that was supposed to serve the divine, and it went rogue or something, I don't know, and started creating itself. But there's no real creatorship in it. See, we went from really wonderful architecture to right angle crap everywhere. I don't know. You take it as it resonates. But you are the star. You are this healer. You come from the stars, and you are the energy of the sun. This spiritual throne belongs to you, temperance angel. Your purpose is to settle yourself, your home, your community, the world. And this is what you're here for. And they tried to stop it desperately by swapping places with you, by making you be chaos while they dressed up in your temperance. You are the star here. They were not able to take your body, and you've manifested an exit, a leaving. You're taking it as far as you can go, and you're out of here. They made mistakes. They wish they could right their wrongs, and they can't. They just can't. They want forgiveness. But what they're receiving is a reciprocity of the jokes, the laughter, the thrills that somebody got out of hurting you. Like they really thought it was fun and funny. Now they're getting reciprocation regarding their habitual patterns and commitment. This entrapment through love spell. They would entrap, they would bedazzle somebody or bewitch somebody, gain a contract, and then they would flip and copycat them, flip them into the dark side. They would lie about them. They would be evil and put all this nastiness onto them, thinking that they were going to take the place of this earth angel. They were going to use them as an exit plan. They thought God was blind and lazy, without dedication to research and truth. It's amazing to me. They don't know what to do. There's disagreements. There could be some arguing regarding this shadow side. People are talking about somebody running. They could be running, or they might be talking about the way they ran away from love. Irreplaceable, inseparable love. They were chasing after it, and once they got it, they gave it to the devil. But this is what you got coming to you. They secretly sabotaged the earth angels and themselves for money. They sold themselves. They did not appreciate the beauty and the wonderful atmosphere that you created here, and that's the truth. This is an unexpected outcome. The truth has been revealed about their crap. There's unfinished business here. They're in regret over trying to get your destiny. You escaped and you're moving into it. It's time, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're feeling the damage from the pain that they have caused. They're feeling broken and shattered about it. This reflection is confused. They had hoped that they were going to wind up with your spiritual spouse, this evil entity. But there's an absence. This soul tie is absent. They're going to be made absent from this soul tie. They missed their opportunity for a soul contract because they neglected everybody by being part of this passion project. An F-boy and an F-girl. And now all this third party wants to talk. They want to have a communication, but they can't get into your space, as they got to stay out of your space. This is a new chapter. They're going to get what they deserve, and so will you. They are unsatisfied. They've been found unworthy. And they're being detached from people who actually love themselves. People who actually love themselves will be reunited with others who actually love themselves. And they're not out there to sabotage other people in order to make themselves feel better, because they've done the work and they've healed with their star energy and their sun energy. They've already done the work. They've healed, they love themselves, and they're coming together with somebody else who has done the same. Equal reciprocity. These ones didn't want to do the work. They wanted to hurt and harm and destroy, and it's a world of violence that they were creating. And I heard the divine say, if it's a world of violence you want, a world of violence you shall have. And that's what they're going to get. And it's sad to me, but it's what they wanted. It's what they've been creating. It's what they've been working on for centuries. And they've been defiling the innocence and the purity of children and virgins and mothers, while they dispose of the fathers in rituals called war. Get them out of the way. Tell them they're protecting their family, and then go send them off to shed their blood so that we can just have them all here for ourselves. I just don't like this energy, but it is what it is, and I'm reading on it because it happens to be what I survived. And like many of you, look, unicorn freaking legends. Innocent purity. filled with the essence of the sun and the stars. Temperance angel. They're dependent on it, but rather than nurture it, guide it, help it, grow into all that it is so that it could be in its purpose and assist life, they decided to feed on it, lie about it, stuff it into a dark hole, and then draw off the energy. And you know what's sad about that is they were drawing off the energy at like 50%. It wasn't even at full percent, but that's because the lower vibrational energies here, they can't dwell in that high vibrational light. They had to alter it. They had to suck it out. They had to give it pain, give it suffering, give it lack, distract it. Don't let it come into the fullness of who it is. Freaking unicorn legend. Billionaire freaking status. So these ones, they got to get out of Dodge. They got to get out of home. They want to be made invisible, or they're going to be made invisible. They're a gold digger who is daydreaming about billionaire status, because this is who you are. You're a legendary unicorn, temperance angel, sun and star, and they martyred you and proceeded to lie on you. Shut you down in every way that they could, and then fill your mind and your energy with black energy and soap operas running Wi-Fi through your receiver on freaking road. So now they're trying to defend their beliefs on doing love spells, bewitching people in order to gain an intimate contract so that they could then harvest it, copy, flip it, feed it to the dark. Black square, doing the very least to gain the very most. They weren't interested in helping themselves. They said their job was to help you. So they helped themselves to you and everything that was yours, thinking that they knew better how to appropriate your life, your soul song, your connection to source, your intimate contact and messaging. They thought they knew how to manage you better than you. Divinely connected to source, which they are not. They cut you out, they martyred you, and then disconnected you. They wrapped your crown and shut it down and put all kinds of blockages on you to make sure that you wouldn't be heard or seen, so that they could try to present themselves as you. But then you've got consistency, right? These ones who were running around pretending to be you, sure, they could pretend to be one little aspect of you for a length of time. But then all of a night, here comes nighttime, here comes midnight, and they're up wearing their robes and they're doing their chanting and whatever, they're shedding blood and their rituals and they're doing their nasty stuff. Something the original never does. So you've got the act, and then you've got the reality. The devil vampire can't ever not be a vampire. At some point, they have to expose themselves as their true. And the divine sees all. They're triggered because it's being broadcast. They're a simp. They do the very most for somebody who cares the least. They're a vampire. They're feeding this dark thing, this black hole soul. That's their job, is to feed it. Unicorn legends. And to commit conspiracy theories about it. So very quickly, we've got a prophecy playing out. This is in the recent past. Somebody has been watching the crazy drama about this rabbit hole stuff. Somebody's overwhelmed and stressed out about a conspiracy theory. They didn't have all the details. They believed something without gathering their own facts. Somebody spied, but they didn't have all the facts. Somebody spied, they created all kinds of crazy drama based on lies. They didn't have the facts. So there's a celebration because this player has been, the player who has been playing with the evermore love, with love in unions, there is an expectation that they will be haunted. You're not childish, and they were lying. They lied about you being childish. They're the ones who are being childish, and maybe they lied about themselves being childish. They're seen for who they are. They're not important. They're not this fancy, you know, authority, I belong on the spiritual throne. This is a freaking playmaster out there lying about everybody and everything, including themselves. And we've got influencer. They could have been lying about an influencer being childish, and they wanted to shut them down. They didn't want you to be seen. They didn't want your voice to be heard. They spread a lie. They didn't want you to be loved by anybody or recognized by anybody. They just wanted you left in a dark hole so that they could just snake you and draw off you, like with their little straw. Get your freaking life force essence right out of there and gobble it up, and then pretend that they were important. They lied about you being childish. They lied about you being a bad influence on people. They slandered you, defiled you, degraded you in every way that they knew how, hoping that somebody would agree with them, so that they would get what you have, your energy, your spiritual throne, your 9 of Pentacles, your family, your home. A freaking troll. Is being told to stay in their own lane. They're a privileged vampire. Temperance angel was martyred and severed from the intuition. They wrapped the crown, they cursed the crown, and they thought that if they could do such a thing, cut you off from the divine in all ways with their forbidden magic, that you would never be seen and that they could rise on your wings. They're looking for an exit plan. They were guilty of trying to use you as an exit plan. They ignored the red flags. They ignored the warnings. You are the sun, and there is a rebirth. All is well. This spiritual throne belongs to you. You're not going anywhere. Their cup is empty, and they're being held back. They're not a starseed. You are. They wanted to be seen as you, but they're not you. They're a narcissist, a feral freaking narcissist who has to give the land back. This land is yours. They're in a 5 of Pentacles because you are a peaceful person. This narcissist was too full of themselves and they have lost. You've gained an understanding of who and what they are, and it's being announced. You're announcing it. Everybody's announcing it. This is a shadow demon cult leader stuck on trauma bonding with the innocence and purity of light beings, temperance angels, oracles, stealing their minds, stealing their messaging, and then pretending that they were that. They think you're a bitch. They're jealous. They want you to be a snack for this freaking shadow demon. They hate humans. You're a star. They could not take your body. You have manifested leaving. They made mistakes. So either they're leaving, somebody's leaving. Now there's unlimited universes out there. Limitless universes are there within creation. And there's like a place for vampiric trolls, devils, and there's a place for legendary unicorns, temperance angels. Everybody's going to get what they deserve, according to he who rumbles through the soul when he speaks. And there's only one who does that. As scary as these other ones are, as big and scary as they are, they're not he who has authority, or at least speaks with it. And he said everybody's going to get what they deserve. And he's dedicated to the truth, to transparency, to finding all of the details about everything, and they're not going to lie. I've heard these nefarious ones complaining about a truth serum, like they can't help themselves. They got to tell the truth. They're not getting the land back. They made mistakes. They're not getting the land back. They have to leave. They're triggered by the empath and their practice of self-care. This is a feral, love-bombing, gaslighting person who feels that it's absolutely okay to bewitch people with love spells in order to gain access to their most sacred and intimate energy, so that they can then flip, copycat, and take their land, their house, their stuff. They like to trauma bond themselves with oracles. They're a shadow demon, and they're jealous of you because they think you're a bitch. They want you to go away. This narcissist wants to eat you, but this narcissist is the new fodder. That's just the way that it is, according to the divine. These ones are the new fodder. Now, I don't know who feeds on vampires. I honestly don't. Why would anybody want to feed on a vampire when they're empty? I don't know. There's got to be something going on there, but you know, there's all kinds of different beings within the limitless number of universes. And I suppose somewhere out there, there is somebody who likes to feed on vampiric trolls, devils. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. I'm going to pull one card out of here, and then we'll go ahead and leave that. No, your house will not be burned because you're responsible. Look, we got beginnings. Beginnings. And quest into the subconscious. Know thyself. Unconditional self-acceptance. So this devil is addicted to and reliant upon the energy and the light of innocence and purity. Those legendary unicorn, those temperance angels, special ones. They have confessed it. They lied about you being dark. Or maybe the dark side lied. They lied about you, trying to set you up. And we've got unconditional self-acceptance. They lied. They said that you were dark, but you are unconditional self-acceptance. Regardless of what other people say or how they condemn you or judge you. You know in your heart and in your mind that you're not an evil person, and your intentions aren't out to get anybody or screw anybody over, and that your intentions are to be the best version of you as possible. Maybe you challenge yourself to be better than you were yesterday, or at least to increase the value of your soul in some way. I don't know. It's the little things that add up. Take it as it resonates. But you have unconditional self-acceptance. Now, these ones might say that you are an addict because you use plant medicine. They may say that your habitual use of adaptogens of whatever form that is. Say you use the blue lotus flower for your evening meditation or whatever. You know, these ones are trying to say that you're hiding your true self behind plants. And this is just not so, and it's weird. So as they slander you and try to convince the courts that you are, you know, hiding the true you by whatever, it's a lie. And you recognize it as a lie. It's like you don't recognize the authority of these vampiric entities that are very dark and dense in their energetic field, who snack on you. You don't recognize their authority. It's like they're an abuser, and they just don't have, they're not a leader. They're a feeder. And everybody eats is true, but there's responsible ways of going about it that aren't a bloodbath or a freaking soul-shattering experience. It doesn't have to be like that. So they're leaving home. We've got invisibility here. This gold digger will not be able to spy on those with billionaire status, these legendary unicorns. They were daydreaming about being that, and they got to face it, that it just wasn't right. We've got focus. They got to face it. Focus. It could be that you have focus. Number 38. You have a choice right now. Look at what you treasure or what you despise, what you hope for or what you fear. Either way, what you think about grows. Your focus is a power source, amplifying and expanding what it perceives. Now is the time to use this very simple power to direct the energy and flow of your experience. When you focus on what you already have with gratitude and on what you want with love and appreciation, you create the energy version of your vision before there is any proof in the material world. You can take that vision to the planning board and map your own road. See your path. Your path is created from the thought. Unfortunately, we've got vampires out there who see somebody else's path and then try to take that rather than see their path, birthed from the heart, the soul. And maybe it's because they don't have a heart or soul. Maybe they don't have that. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. You're the creator. You're this temperance sun star, freaking legendary unicorn. You can manifest greatness. We got starseed here. These ones are being held back. They're not a starseed. You are. You've got this fantastic. There are generators and there are manifestors. Now, manifestors can look at something and say, I want a copy of that. And they can say, copy, 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 copy. But the generator creates something from scratch, something that nobody's ever seen before, something that they dream up in their own mind, and they say, poof, here it is. And then they hand it over to the manifestor, and then the manifestor says, copy, 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 copy. So apparently from my research and my interactions with people, only about 10% of people in this world, whether they be a starseed or whatever, only about 10% are actual generators. They create what the manifestor manifests, is the way that it was explained to me. She said that the generator tells the manifestor what to make, what to create, what to make more of. But the generator is a whole nother thing. Not very many people are like that. But you are, 10% of you out there are. And they wanted to trap you and claim that ability. Many of them did in the previous cycle. They trapped you in this space and then pulled off of your intellectual property and claimed it as their own. So they're trying to defend their beliefs about bewitching people with love spells in order to gain a contract to their most sacred and intimate energies, and they're grieving because it did not work out the way they had planned. They're a black square. They do the least amount of work in order to gain the most, and it's always at somebody else's loss and expense. Guard the nesting ground. The nesting ground is being guarded, and these ones are trying to defend their beliefs and their right to remain on the nesting ground. They've been feeding on the innocent. They're trying to defend their right to be here and to continue bewitching people with love spells to gain false contracts in order to feed on them and whatever comes from them, the life that comes from them, these innocent ones. Guard the nesting ground is what is happening now. So very quickly, we've got prophecy has occurred. We had somebody spying on this crazy drama. These tinfoil hat conspiracies, they're overwhelmed. The stress is draining them. They were doing research on the crazy drama. Maybe they thought it was a crazy conspiracy theory when it was actual prophecy. They didn't put any they didn't put any emphasis on it, credibility to it. Retract. They pulled away from it. They pulled away from it. They thought that the players here that were part of this prophecy were just a crazy drama, tinfoil hat conspiracy. So they withdrew from it. And now they're overwhelmed. There's a celebration here. There was a player looking for eternal love, or playing with eternal love, expecting to take this position of the earth angel spiritual throne influencer. They could be getting haunted. Maybe they thought that they were going to haunt you and overtake your mind and just drive you into the freaking oblivion of darkness. They were lying about you being childish, and they wanted to claim your role as an influencer because they figured that you were a bad representative, a bad influence on the people. They called you crazy. They tried to drive insanity through your mind. They downloaded black energy into the waters of your body, and you had to transmute that crap as a star. You had to alchemize it. And these ones are all upset because you continuously alchemize this black energy, this death energy that they keep trying to burn your temple down with, your house, your flesh suit. They didn't want the people to hear you because they're a vampire. They want people in lack. They want people in a state of suffering. They want people to think very low of themselves. This is the way that the troll can feed. They can feed on a lack of confidence. They can feed on people who aren't in command of themselves and who don't feel courageous enough to step forward with confidence and say, this is my dream, this is my song, and it's valuable. They wanted to lead people around by the nose down a path of incoherence. Little doers, little do as I says, even if it hurts. You know? We got bury your dead. Bury your dead. Number 42. This moment asks you to let go. Sometimes you just need to bury your dead rather than hanging on to what's no longer vital. When a dream dies, or a plan fails, or a relationship ends, there must be grief before closure. Otherwise, you cling to what no longer has life force. Your own attachment becomes a burden, draining you of your vital energy and lifeblood. Do what you must to honor the passing. Create a ceremony, shape a memorial, enact a ritual. Even though it can be the toughest thing to hear ever, this passing is happening for you, not to you. Trust that. Whatever helps you separate from the ending and turn toward your new beginning is what you need right now. And on the card here, that was number 42. Let me check you, see you. So you can see the picture. There's fangs on this. So this is a little vampire. And it says bury your dead. So if there are anybody sucking the life out of you, saying that you're not a good influence, calling you childish, telling others that you are, slandering you, trying to strip from you your own sense of authority when it comes to speaking your truth. I mean, this is crazy. And they don't want other people to hear you, to know you, to see you, to befriend you. These masculines, one of them came to me in the dream state some time ago, and he said, I don't like your perspective about reality. These are the liars that were lying about you being childish so that they could take over your influence in this world. They wanted to silence you. They did not want you to be heard. They did not want you to have an opportunity for eternal love. They didn't want people to listen to you regarding how you care for yourself or this world or anything. They didn't want you to be heard. You got this Nine of Pentacles here and a home. No, it will not be burned down because you are very responsible. There's a troll here being told to stay in their own lane. This is a privileged vampire. Quest into the subconscious. Number 44. Trauma is real. It's not always what's happening on the surface that can explain our current reality or experience. Your entanglement with intense emotions and reactions right now may very well be triggered by something that has deep roots in the subconscious. Science calculates about 10% of our lives are run by our conscious thought, while 90% is run by the subconscious. And this is the vampire and the devil's playing ground, this 90%. So if you find yourself with persistent triggers that can make you feel not enough, too much, overwhelmed, afraid, or chronically separated from your own sense of love and belonging, the question isn't, what's wrong with me? The right question is, what happened to me? Your subconscious has many of the answers to situations that plague and mystify you. Quest down into that sacred space to explore the truth that is waiting there. So consciously, like this, I'm operating out of 10% right now when I'm speaking to you, but 90% is on the unseen. I spend a lot of time in my 90%. It's difficult for me to kind of relate to regular people with regular conversations because I always go into the 90% and they get uncomfortable. Anyway, maybe you do too. So you're a temperance angel, and that was martyred. You were the bridge, your crown, the bridge, the connection that you had to source, it had been cursed. And they were thinking that they were going to use you and your life and identity as an exit plan. They are guilty. They were not listening to the warning signs. They ignored the warnings. Mind that monkey. Mind that monkey. They ignored the warnings. They got this monkey mind telling them, oh yeah, it'll work. It's the best idea. Blah, 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 blah. And they got this big thing going on and they thought, oh yeah, we're going to get it. And they didn't. You got a rebirth. You're the sun. You're on your spiritual throne. You're not moving on. Their cup is empty. They're being held back because they're not a starseed. They're a fraud. They're a vampiric fraud that feeds on starseeds. Their cup is empty. On the inside, they cannot generate their own energy. They do not have connections with their own mind. If they get cut off and severed from everything that they have ever latched onto, bewitched, or claimed, then what's left as the core of them is nothing. It's empty. It's an empty shell. And here's your do-over. Here's your do-over. They're being held back. You're not moving on. This spiritual throne is yours. They're an empty vessel. They're not a starseed, and they got to move on. Here's your do-over. You got the sun and the spiritual throne on the left, and you got the empty vessel who is not a starseed on the right. Boom. You're not going anywhere. Here's your do-over. This is the separation. Let me read the card for you, just because. We got number 29. Failure is a chimera. Part beast, part blessing. It lurks just beyond your greatest plans, terrifying us. But when we're willing to fail, that toothsome chimera can become our ally. When we dare to befriend what we fear most, we become resilient, fierce. When failure threatens to overcome you, its bite tries to convince you you are dying. But it's lying. Your soul is forged of lightning and stardust, and it cannot be destroyed. But only you can prove this truth to yourself by getting back up after failure. Insist on remembering who you really are and what you are really made of. There is magic in the wake of a fiasco, and failure gifts you with a chance to refine your plans. Any path that leads astray shows us how to find a better way. When we embrace failure, we tame the beasts that once terrified us. In this experience, you have learned a lot regarding feeders, vampires, destiny stealers, all of the subtle nuances of the presences of bewitchment, the smile in your face. You know, you've learned discernment regarding energy. You know, when somebody is smiling so sweetly, but these fumes of malice are coming out of their aura, you know? It's like you can see that. They're in a 5 of Pentacles. They've lost everything because of your ability to remain peaceful. This narcissist has lost you. There's an understanding here of what is happening, and there is an announcement. It's being broadcast. Anger. Allow anger. There's a lot of anger here. They're angry. Some of these suns and stars out there are angry. These temperance angels, they might be angry about what has occurred here to the innocence of the children, and what has been occurring here on the land regarding their family. Centuries this has been happening to their ancestors and such, and other people that could very well now be ancestors, because these earth angelics are coming together in the union, and that means tribes are uniting, or the new tribes, or maybe there's just one big old tribe that's coming together, and then everybody will kind of split off. I don't know how this rainbow tribal thing is going to work out. Maybe you do. Anger is fire. Anger's fire is fuel for change. Too little fire, and we risk becoming listless or depressed. Too much, and we risk our peace of mind being consumed by wrath, or worse, bitterness. The invitation in this moment is to find the creative power in your anger. Anger is a sacred fire denied to many of us. We're encouraged to be compliant and agreeable, even when it's not in our best interest. What change can you invite? What injustice can you transform into justice through giving anger its voice? Allow sacred fire to have its space. Feed what is no longer vital into the fire, so it can be reborn into a new life. So this is what's happening right now. These narcissists who have lost control of the suns and the stars, the earth angelics, and their merchandise, these legendary billionaire status unicorns. It looks to me there's the wrath of God coming down on to these people, and the angels and the family of God and Goddess Mother Divine are not happy. Mother Divine is smacking these people down hard. She's upset over what's been happening to these babies, and she's not going to talk to them about it. They've already proven themselves, and the words are pointless now, especially knowing that they play with speaking proper words while embodying malice and thinking about retaliation over having to speak proper words. Embrace effortlessness. So you're the star, you're the healer, you're the rejuvenator. They could not take your body. You have manifested leaving. You're leaving, they're leaving. This is a separation. Here is your do-over. They made mistakes, and they're not getting the land back. They've lost the land. You've taken it back. We've got embrace effortlessness. This is your time. Number 33. We weren't raised to work with the ebb and flow of energies. We were raised to determine a course of action, have goals, and stick to them. The message has been, if it's challenging, uphill, exhausting, or overwhelming, keep going. Suffer the hardship because it makes the reward so much sweeter. That's kind of where we are now. This has led us to go against our own divine nature, punishing ourselves with struggles that feel uphill and suffocating. But the way of Source is to work with the flow. Now is the time to turn off the should in your mind. Turn your energies downhill. Let go of the idea that your dream or decision requires you to toil. Yes, you are in for hard work and commitment, but no, you don't get extra points for suffering. Let others have that battle. It's your time to relax. Call on your invisible allies. Let Source and its flow be your partner in this achievement. So what Source is taking over, Source is delivering the wrath upon this narcissist, devil, vampire. You're being given a do-over. This spiritual throne is yours. You're not going anywhere, and this starseed is being held back. Remember the bones, the history, the ancestors. There's a transition happening right now. Honor your body as a friend. Give it what it needs, the waters, the things, the conductivity, the stability that the mind needs, and the settled energy that helps promote temperance in your environment. Be grateful, forgive things, and that doesn't mean that you have to let them back in your life, but forgiveness is kind of like a release. Be grateful for the experience and then let it go and then move on into the next experience. People are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and most of the time it's a reason. Sometimes it's for a season, and you'll be very, very fortunate if anybody other than God, Goddess, Mother, Father, Creators, is with you for a lifetime. Remember the wooby. Gather things that bring you comfort. Take care of your sacred space and the energy there. Protect the boundaries of it. Get untangled. Untangle from this mess. Release it. Let it go. This is your do-over. They are leaving. You are leaving. They're not getting the land back. They got to go away. So quiet the anxiety monster. There is a harvest going on here, and we're navigating with the flow of Source Divine. They're driving the ship. You're not in charge. These devils aren't in charge. Source Divine is here right now, handing you your spiritual throne, giving you your light back, telling you you don't have to go anywhere. You are that bloom in the mud, that rare water lily that perplexes people. How could something so beautiful come up from the mud that's way down there in the depths of the water? Vampires can't cross water. But you are that beautiful lily that came up out of the mud of the water. You're special. And while the vampire can't get in the water to retrieve you, they do like to feed on you. There's a restoration of innocence. Because you welcomed the unwelcome. You found balance and peace within yourself and in the eye of the storm. And you may not have been in the eye of the storm forever. Like you may have been getting whipped around by it for a long time. This wind may have come in and just like torn you apart, and you were just like, whoa. And then you had to learn how to let go and just flow, be carried by it, right? And then eventually maybe you found yourself settling into the eye of the storm, and you just started watching around you like, wow. And you get to observe as the storm settles. So this is a big blessing. You're being handed a do-over. It's your time to embrace effortlessness. They could not take your body. This is the message that I have for you. I hope that it clarifies something that you were already intuitively aware of. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.